Thought that you want. Okay, cool. Continue. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our job club following our community candor series on stepping into your next job. This session is going to be on transferable skills, which is actually the ticket into your next job. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to do a brief presentation on what transferable skills are, how to pick them out, how to list them on your resume, and then go through a few examples and share a few resources with you all. So transferable skills, what are they? So a transferable skill, just like anything, we can just sometimes take off transferable. We could just focus on the word skill, but that is just basically any skill that you have developed and that you can transfer from one experience to another. So that could be a skill from your professional set, from your personal set, mix up into one. It really doesn't matter because you get skills from pretty much anything and anywhere. So the important thing to realize that there are two types of skills. And so you have hard skills, which are basically skills that you learn on the job. So skills that you learn maybe if you are in a customer service setting and you're learning how to do inventory. If you are working in a warehouse and you're learning how to create spreadsheets or working a forklift or a high-low, that will be considered a hard skill. And so on the offset of that, soft skills are more of the interpersonal abilities. And so that's the listening, speaking, being on time, positive, having a positive attitude. So those more like the personality traits that you can transfer into skills. So there's two types, major types to focus on here, which are the hard skills, which are the learning on the job skills that you picked up, and your soft skills, which more can be translated into your personal abilities. So it's important sometimes that we actually take aside time to actually list those skills and talents. Because most of the times when you read a job description or you are just on your job search, you would pull up a job that sounds interesting. But the first thing that you will do is once you read the qualifications, you can say, hey, I'm qualified, but oh, they want me to have this skill or that skill, or maybe they require some type of certification that you feel that just because you don't have it, you won't be a qualified candidate. Well, it's important again to set aside time to actually list those skills because more than likely you have everything that is qualifying for you to be successful in that job and to apply, and you just may not know. So the key thing here, honestly, is to learn how to work backwards. The best way to know if you qualify or fit a perfect job is actually reading the job description, right? A lot of times it tells you right then and there exactly what they're looking for, the type of candidate that's ideal, and all the skills that you need in order to apply for that job and to be successful. So look at and take a look at that job description and see exactly what they say, what it entails. And then that way you can kind of line it up with the list that you've made personally. And you can do a little compare and contrast, maybe take some skills that you didn't know that you have, reword them to fit the job description that may be on that website. And again, just giving yourself time to really just evaluate yourself. So here is an example. And so if we run through this one, it's Kelly worked at a Cracker Barrel for 5 years. Customers loved coming in to talk to her, and she was known for making people smile. Her tips were always above average, and her manager put her on a schedule consistently. Kelly was punctual, and she learned new systems quickly. Her coworkers often asked for her to help when the restaurant got busy, and she can handle many tasks well. What are some of Kelly's transferable skills? So you can just think about this for a second and just read the example. You can just say, like, oh, well, she's punctual, she's timely, she seems to be dependable in a sense. And all of those are correct. She's customer oriented, right? So she's been working there for a while. So customers know them more likely than not. If they're normal customers or frequent customers, she may know them by name. She has the ability to multitask, working in a fast food environment or a food environment. You have to wear a lot of hats at once, right? It's not just about taking orders and making sure people get their orders on time. It takes a lot in a short amount of settings. Time management, knowing how to be on time for that, knowing timeliness and being able to connect to your customers, making sure everyone gets service on time, being likable. So even though all of those skills weren't things that you may think about when just you hear someone being a server or a customer service rep, if you take the time aside, you see that, oh, there are a lot of things that goes into that and a lot of things that she can transfer. So let's try another example. This one tells a story about Christopher, and he is one of the ER's most dedicated and highly requested CNAs. He has a great deal of patience and is devoted to helping as many patients as he can. Not only do most of the nurses request him as their designated staff for their shifts, but he has a great rapport with all the ER doctors. He's attentive to detail, has great verbal and written communication, and is timely with his tasks. So again, here the question is, what are some of Chris's transferable skills? And if we look at this, we can see that, of course, there are a few things here in the example, right? He has great verbal and written communication. He's timely. He's working in an ER, right? So we can think that there's a lot of things going on at once. And those are all a part of his job description. So those are part of the skills that he has, yes. But also, again, he's a multitasker, right? He's team oriented. When you're working in the hospital, I'm pretty sure if you in a hospital, you've ever been into a hospital, you don't just see one person. And I'm sure everyone has had that experience. You run into a lot of people just in the same, medical case. They may be going in there for one thing, you're seeing a group of people. All of that goes into working with one team. Being dependable, right? If a lot of people request him, if a lot of doctors know who he is, that goes to show that he's a little dependable and trustworthy because he knows what's going on with his patients and he is someone that the team can really call on. And the good note to point out here is that even though in both examples we're talking about someone who works in the food industry and someone who works in a hospital setting, we can see that some of these skills, again, even though they aren't underneath the same job title, are transferable, right? They both have great interpersonal skills. They were both attentive to details. They were both multitaskers. So again, those are the skills that you think about when you're in one job and you think about maybe transferring to another job and saying, hey, I'm in this industry. I really don't think that I can be successful in that. When 9 times out of 10 you are, and you're already qualified and you're already there. It's just about recognizing it and being able to put that on your resume. So again, remember that you can do many things. No one is really catapulted in one category. You can do a whole bunch. Again, it's just important to recognize the gifts that you have and actually spend time on your resume and thinking about all the activities that you have done in those activities that you can list. And you'll be surprised at how many things you can do well. The most important thing in anything that you're doing is knowing and understanding how to not count yourself out, right? So in a job search or trying to find that next thing that fits best with you, for you, the thing that you can do well in. A lot of times people want to count themselves out, maybe when it gets too hard, or, maybe you haven't heard back from an employer in about 2 weeks and you called and you haven't heard anything back from the hiring manager. or you have just been looking and nothing seems to pop out to you as far as something that you're interested in, or again, that you may feel like you're not qualified for. But the thing is, most people don't even give themselves enough credit for the many things that they do well. So just an example of Christopher, who is a CNA, and he's confident in his work. He goes to work, and a lot of people request him. He's one of the floor favorites. He may give himself credit in his role as being a CNA, but let's say if he tries to transfer into working into a more in a factory setting, that's a realm that he may not be comfortable in or may not have a lot of knowledge in, but just as like he was dependable in his job, he was timely in his job, he was team oriented. Those are the same things that would carry over into that next industry. So again, while your skill set may not match exactly with the job description, it is still important to strive and just to still apply. Chances are you may find yourself more qualified for the job than you may think. So just don't count yourself out. Give yourself that chance. You never know. And just a few resources to add here. So NextJob is a really good online resource in regards to employment and finding that next job. And we are NextJob partners, and they have some really cool attributes on their websites. You can do personality assessments that really help you connect into your next job. They do have a job search, so you can go on there, search jobs according to your interests, whatever you may consider as your desired pay. They do have resume builders on there that can really help you organize your resume, list those skills. And they do have an interview tool, which is really cool. You can actually practice your interview on there, review it, ask yourself questions, and really have that space to practice for your next interview. So we are encouraging you all to sign up and join NextJob. And there is an access code right here on the flyer that you all can use to sign up. And so this concludes our session on building your resume transferable skills. Please look out for all of our sessions in the Job Club. We have one every Thursday of this month, starting at 5:30. Next week, we're going to be talking about how to search for that next job. And so thank you so much for attending, and see you this month.